Welcome to the Drunkard's Path. We have a few things to touch on today, and can you believe we're into October and the Canadian Thanksgiving is just around the corner, Halloween shortly after that, so we have lots of reasons to hit our sewing rooms and stitch. So let's start by saying we want to thank the Sarnia Quilters Guild for having us at the retreat just recently, and we are so thankful and grateful for everybody that came and helped supported us, and we had plenty of giveaways and goodie bags and stuff, so I think it went quite well, and we had a really good day. We truly appreciate it, and we will also be the vendor at Sarnia Quilters Guild on October the 7th, so anybody that's a member, I hope to see you there. Our winners today, we're going to first talk about the 3 fat quarters that we had for the last video, and our winner is D. Gordon 9150. So if you could please get a hold of us at support@drunkardspath.com, we will get your address and we will send these out to you. This week we are going to give away a cross stitch pattern. We're going to switch it up just a little. We have this Christmas cross stitch pattern. Now, if you're not a cross stitcher, you might have a nice stitchy friend out there you want to give it to. So please leave a comment, like the video, and subscribe. That would be great. And hopefully you'll be our next winner. Also, coming up at the end of the month, we're going to have our big fat quarter bundle. We have the Layla Boutique Christmas bundle here. So anybody that's made a purchase the last couple of months, your name is in the drawing. So this is just going to be perfect time. You have a nice Christmas quilt made. So you have a couple months to get that done. So good luck to everybody. Stick around to the end of the video, and I'm going to show you how to make this cute little, I guess, a basket or a little container. It's just small. It's made out of 4 10-inch squares, so I know everybody out there has got layer cakes, and if you're wondering what to do with these, I'm going to show you how to make this very versatile little basket, and it's reversible too, so stick around. New to our shop, we had a collection come in. It's called Denim and Daisies by Joanna Figueroa of Fig Tree and Company. We had about 6 bolts come in. I wish I could have gotten more, but unfortunately that's all that they had. But it's a really beautiful collection, and I love her stuff. You can't go wrong with anything from Joanna Figueroa. So our first one is called Nutmeg, and it's kind of an orangey brown color with flowers and a nice big print. Number 2, we have Stonewashed, and let me just unroll that. And this is a lighter blue on white flowers. This is just beautiful. Number 3, we have another Stonewashed. This one has just a little touch of orange in it and a darker blue along with that light blue. So this is very pretty. Our next one, I think, is called Midnight, and this one did really well at the retreat. I have a feeling that we're not going to have this one in stock too long, because I think we went through more than half the bolt the other day. This is a really pretty, it's got like a little, I'm going to say it looks like a little paisley design, and some light blue on the darker blue background, and little teeny tiny white dots. Next we have Butterscotch. So this looks very fall. It's got leaves and some little white dots, kind of like shaped like a flower, I guess. Yeah, that's a flower. So that one's nice. And last we have another one called Nutmeg. Let me just unfold some of that for you. Again, it's like that little paisley pattern with orange and a burnt orange kind of color on a cream colored background. So have a look on our website of this new collection, and we have another 2 to 3 collections coming still. They should be here shortly, so hopefully the next video we can show you the next one. But we do have one, the newest one by Sherry and Chelsea, called, I think it's called Laguna Sunrise. That one's coming in shortly, and I can't remember the top of my head what the other one is, but I think there's another fall collection too. So just have a look out for those. They'll be in the shop shortly. What have I been working on? Well, not tons. I mean, my time has just seemed to be not my own these days. I seem to be running around like crazy, but that's okay. Keeps me busy. Pat and I have been working on our quilt. We've been hand quilting, and that does take a bit of time too, but it really grounds you doing hand quilting. It kind of, I don't know, you just get that nostalgic feeling of being back in the day when ladies sat around the quilt frame and just hand quilted, and we sit there and we talk away. So it's really good time to spend with friends if you get a chance to ever hand quilt. The first thing, let me see, I'm gonna go with these. I've been into these project bags. I don't know, I just can't seem to get enough of these. Anyway, so what I did on this one is so darn cute. It's a little coffee mug or a teacup, I guess. I don't know, one or the other. But what I did was I pulled a block from Lori Holt's, I think it's Christmas Vintage book. And there's so many blocks in there. So I just took this one is, I think it's a 6-inch block. And then I just put a border around it with some Christmas fabric I found, the green, and then the green stockings. And it just looks so cute. So if you've got books and you've got, different blocks, you don't have to do a whole quilt. Just make a block, and you can make something just as simple as a project bag. So this is the back. I just used some other Christmas fabric, and just all I did was lines for quilting. So again, this is not hard. And inside we have some more, just like scrap, whatever I could find. I just love to use up the scraps. I just pulled out my box with all my Christmas fabrics and just kind of saw some, I just needed smaller pieces, and it worked just great. So that is that project bag. And I made another one I made the quilt, the Dresden plate quilt, and I used a fat quarter bundle for that with all different orange fabrics. Well, I had a bunch of the Dresden plate, the little pieces. I had a bunch left over. So what I did with this one is I took those pieces and I sewed them together. You put one way, one up, one down, one up, one down. And then I just sewed them all, like the 3 rows together. Then I squared it up. And then I had the squares that were also in the quilt. I had leftover little 2.5-inch squares. So I sewed them all together, which made the top. So this is what the front looks like. And I just love this orange. I just think it's so pretty. And the back, I just had leftover again. So I just sewed 2 pieces together, and that's my backing. And I used I think it's called serpentine stitch, which a lot of the machines have for my quilting. So that's what that looks like. And I used a variegated thread throughout. And inside, these are always full of projects too. So I have so many cross stitch projects. But you don't have to put just cross stitch. There's lots of different hand stitching projects these are really good for. So again, leftovers, and just sewed them all together. And then I serged my insides. And of course I put the little zipper pulls on there. And that's just a matter of, I don't know, maybe took me 3 hours from start to finish on this. So that's not bad when you have to sew, when you're piecing together. So that is that bag. I still had leftover orange fabric, and I also have a little bit left over. It just really went far. So what I did, again, I took Lori Holt's Vintage Farm Girl book. I saw something in there that kind of caught my eye that I thought, I'm going to make a block. And I wanted to make a small wall hanging because I kind of traded up what I had on my walls upstairs. So I had the maple leaf sitting in one spot. It was just a smaller spot. So I need just a block and to fill that spot. So what I did was I found this it's a milk can block in her book, and so I just made the 12.5-inch block, and then I just added borders on the top and the bottom. And this is what I got. So it's very fall looking, and I changed up the quilts upstairs to match like a fall theme, fall or Halloween. So I thought that really looked kind of cute, and it was quick, and I mean, you don't have to do the whole quilt. So that's what's great about it, is that you just make the block and this is what you get. So I was pretty happy with how that turned. And again, more scraps. That's that. And a while ago I was, I had a membership to this. It was kind of like each month a new little wall hanging would come out through, I think it was through Shabby Fabrics. And I made this one. It was called Autumn. And it goes on this little dowel, this little hanging thing. And I forgot that. I went, oh yeah, I've got this one. So I just switched up what I had hanging on this before. And it's really kind of pretty where these were all pre-cut. These little, the applique. And it had like a pre-glued as well. So it had the glue background. So you just use your iron and you put this all down. And then you just sew over top. Or you can do like a zigzag stitch or something around each of them, but I just did a tighter quilting on an angle, which caught everything, and everything's adhered down, and then just all the different colored flying geese. So I just thought that was really pretty, and that's the one that hangs up next to my door upstairs. Okay, now we got the fully finished quilt, the Dresden plate one, and I had Lori Ramsey, she quilted this for me, and I was so happy how it turned out. She did such a pretty pattern on there. Everything looks just wonderful. I put the orange binding on it, and let's just kind of flip it to the bottom. And this is my fully finished quilt, so I was really happy, really super happy with how that turned out. So thank you, Lori. You did a wonderful, wonderful job. I just wanted to show you one quick cross-stitch fully finished piece that I have. It is quite appropriate for my house, where it has like the vintage tomato and the little the little cross-stitch hoop, the scissors, the little spools of thread. I apologize for any glare you're getting off of this, because it's just regular glass, and I just got this little frame in Michael's. So I just popped it in the frame, and believe it or not, I think it took me at least 4 or 5 days to cross stitch this small piece, but I love the colors in it. And yeah, this is my cross stitch finish for this, but I will do a floss too where I show a lot more of my cross stitch. Okay, for this next segment, Angela's is going to pop a picture in, and I'm going to talk about how I have switched up my quilts upstairs, and this is how I've been decorating. The first one is a quilt that I made for that Fat Quarter Shop put out last year for their spooky Halloween theme that they always put out a free pattern. So I just used the fabric that we had here, and I made this cute little, I can't remember, sorry, what the name of this one was called, but I'm sure it's still on their website because they keep all their free patterns up there. So this was cute with the cat and the bat and the spooky house. So that's hanging in my hallway. My next one is from the Perfect 5 book that I showed you. They're just little houses, and I used some Halloween fabric that I had, and they're just little houses with like a little garage next to it, and that was using just a charm pack. That's what, yeah, it's coming back to me now. Charm pack that I had, and cut it, like, it was really, really super simple to do and to quilt. And this one again is in the hallway upstairs. The next one is from a panel that I have from the Harvest Wishes collection, which we still have some of these panels. And what I did was just use the panel, and then I put strips on the top and the sides. And this is what I got in the end, and that is sitting at the front foyer of our house on the area where we go downstairs. And the other photo is from another one of the Fat Quarter Shop sew-alongs, spooky sew-alongs that they have. Now, this one looks a little wonky because I ran out of wall space, and it was a little bit big, and I thought, I don't care, I'm going to put it up there anyway. It's, I'm pretty much, me and my family are the only ones that see it, so it kind of goes around the wall to into the living room, but that's still in the front foyer next to the closet. And what I use is I use the little Wonder Clips I have on these little hooks, and then I just use the clips, and it holds it, as long as the quilt is not too heavy, it holds it up quite well. So that's just, if you ever wonder how you're going to hang it up on your wall without leaving marks, these little hooks have that, they're by 3M, and you can pull the sticky stuff out of the back of the hook, so you don't have nothing left on your wall. So they're actually quite a really good thing to use for hanging up small items on your wall. And the last one is from this year's spooky Fat Quarter Shop free pattern that they gave out. The one that I made lengthwise instead of the square. Now this one is sitting on just the outside of my fridge. There's a wall, like a small wall there, and it fits just right there. So I put that one up there, and that's what I've done with my quilt. So it's just fun to decorate with your quilts. They're not necessarily all just for beds and whatever, but the wall hangings, they're fun to switch up with when the seasons change. And now here's the tutorial on how to make this basket. Today I'm going to show you how to make this cute little basket with 4 10-inch squares. So if you've got a layer cake sitting around and you don't know what to do with it, this is going to be a really quick and fun project to do. So these are very versatile little baskets. They are reversible if you want. Now mine, the way I did it, I did top stitch the top, so I'm going to leave it like this. But if you don't want to leave it like this and you want to use it as reversible, just don't do that step, and then you can just turn it the other way and have it either way. So it's very quick, and these little baskets you can give away as a gift. You can use them at or sell them at bazaars or at guild shows, quilt shows or whatever. They're just really super handy, and I love them. I have them sitting beside my sewing machine that I actually put my threads in there as I'm going along. So let's get started with step 1. So what you're going to need is 4 10-inch squares, which I have right here. Some interfacing. Now if you don't have interfacing, maybe you could just use batting. Like I've done that before too. So I just have, this is the one I'm using here. It's the Lori Holt Sew-In Interfacing. So this is what that package looked like. So I just cut out another 2 10-inch squares, and I used my Perfect 10 ruler, goes that way, to cut out my squares. But if you don't have one, that doesn't matter. You can, cut a 10 by 10. And I'm going to be also using my 2.5-inch square ruler to cut the corners. So every one of these is going to have each and the corners cut out. So on one side, not the other, just one. So I'm going to put that aside. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and line these up really well so I can just do it in one shot. So let's just try to see if we can't get them all nicely lined. Now I'm taking a chance. You don't have to do this. But what I'm going to do, can always trim up a bit later. So I'm just going to lay down my 2.5-inch square. And I'm just going to cut that corner. And then you're going to go this way. Okay, there we go. 1. It made me leave a tiny little mark there. It goes in, but not, it'll be in seam allowance, so. You can also mark it and then use scissors. Whatever works for you on cutting out that 2.5-inch. And this is going backwards. And I do not advise that. Okay. Let's see, what part didn't we get? A little bit there. There you go. And you can save these 2.5-inch squares to make something else, because these are quite common. So we're going to put that aside, and we're going to do this also because to the interfacing. So that little piece there, and then we'll go to the other side. That one and one more. And the last cut. And there we go. The rest is scrap. So it doesn't really matter, I guess. If you're going to do a reversible one, it doesn't matter which is the inside and what's the outside. So what you're going to do is, I'm just going to use this one for my inside, because I probably will chop stitch it. So what we're going to do is we're going to pin along here. Oops. Along the bottom. Don't pin in here. Just, ouch. Sharp. Yep, they're sharp. And one more. And along this side as well. Now if you've got fusible interfacing, that's great too. So you could, at this point, you would iron that onto the wrong side of the outside pieces. So we have that one done. So we're just going to take, okay, and then we're going to go that. And we're going to, oops. So we're going to have to pin these all together. Try to match up as best you can. Just easier to do to sew them all at the same time. So we're just going to pin. This one you have a few layers to go through, so just make sure your pins go all the way through. And that. Okay, so you're going to sew along these three sides. Don't sew this part, because those are going to be our box corners. So let's go do two of them together, and then when I get done that, you're gonna iron down the top piece by about 1/2 inch on both sides, okay? And iron open your seams on both. Okay, so the next step we have them all sewn. I press them open. Now, if you prefer, you could use one of these seam rollers that you just roll open the seam, and like when it's like this, it's kind of hard to get the iron on it, but I did use the iron, but if you have one, this might be a good tool to use. And then I folded it over about 1/2 inch, and then I ironed it down all the way around. The same with the inside. This is the outside, this is the inside piece. Again, ironed them open, and I folded it down. So the next step that we want to do, we're going to do our corners. They're not hard, nice and easy. So all you're going to do is match up these seams like that, and put a pin there, and one on the end. Keep them lined up. Everything lined, and another pin, and then you're going to do that for the other side, so you get the idea. And then I forgot to mention, it's a quarter inch seam all the way around on these seams and this seam. So you're going to go sew 1/4 inch on these, and you're going to do the same thing for the lining piece. Okay, our corners are done. From the outside, the inside. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew these and secure them together. That way, when you flip them right sides out, this thing will stay put. It won't shift on the bottom. So we're just going to line them up, put a pin, side, and pretty much lined up there. Now the pattern I got this from, this is the first time I've ever seen you actually sew the bottom like this, and I kind of like that idea. So I will link this pattern. It was a free pattern, so I will link it below if you want to reference it. And one more. Okay, so like that and like that. So we're going to go again. We're going to sew across and across. And then we're going to bring up this part and we're going to meet the sides afterwards. I'll show you how that's done. So as you can see, the top is sewn, or the outside is sewn to the inside. So they're not going anywhere. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring it up to the top. And we're going to match the sides, okay? So, and then, you see, you can match those seams. See, we're smart. We ironed it ahead of time. So I'm going to go to my clips, my Wonder Clips. And we're going to match. And go all the way around. I like to do my side seams first. So I know that they are bang on. And remember, if you're using directional fabric, make sure you've got it going the right direction before you sew. Because I know from experience how easy that is to have it going the wrong way. Okay, try to get it nice and even. And then we go this side. Kind of work it with your hands a little. Okay. See that we're all matched up nicely. One more. This fits pretty good. I must have kept my 1/4 inch seams pretty good. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew around this outside here, but I'm going to do it about 1/8 of an inch all the way around. And then I can pop that bag the other way, and then we'll just fold it over, and then you'll have your completed bag. So it's pretty simple. So far so good, so I will be right back and show you what that looks like. Okay, here's the bag all sewn all the way around the top. I did that at a 3.0 stitch length, and I did the rest of it at a 2.0. So now I'm just gonna fold it. Oh, wait a minute. We're gonna go fold it the other way, because I want to have that on the inside. And we're just going to fold it over. About, I don't know, I guess that's about 1.5 inches. Like that. And you can see how nice and sturdy it is. You can see the inside of it. Seams are all nicely matched all the way around. And this is your finished little basket with it. I'm sure that you will probably have about 1,000 uses for. They're very handy, and if you were using a layer cake, you could make 10 of these. So have fun with this. Check out the link below on where to get the pattern, and enjoy. Thank you so much for watching and supporting us, and as always, keep sewing, keep stitching.